ena eba eye institutions omoboaye any procurement omo ye vaccines omo say eye omo ye recruitment be eye EC any NIA National Identification Authority eye registration me during COVID-19 no mo hear more personnel e ma be adwuma into between EC any NIA registration near the idea course during COVID-19 no omo say 401 million Ghana cedis for that. And on a Ken Oforiatta air catch mo. Also say a year school for the exams. I'm making sure say school for the school exams and precautionary measures be I'm taking my school sasu be no and no I'm spending 1.1 billion and de Emma a boy in Korano ho buying. Now Osaka say procurement koto to basin di sika to basins near the day na sika and so almost say close to 1 billion Ghana cedis in fact or say a 929 million 29.3 million. In the kind of Oriata Abeke can some way in our parliament. Actually, Ghana for say COVID-19 nearby, you know, Sikatri dia omoji, Sajuma di say nom dear. And person Busa will say, in summer can of Oriata can you now, we are Ghana need to say me. Sa figures are all throw about any Yinano at the end of the day. Did you feel that impact? East in Kwani NIA, they got about a year what we call close to 500 million, let's say 400 million for registration, for recruitment. You could see, say, the figures are made up. They are cooked. Now, the strategy here is, Otumika say, you spend 1.1 billion, but we did not spend the 1.1 billion. We were able to spend 900 million. Now, after a year, kind of for attack and someone in our parliament, the minority side were checking him and they were fact checking him and they were actually checking his statements. And at the end of the day, every money be a call COVID-19 accounts and our funds, it went through parliament approved a buying sika. Into the minority also had questions for Ken Oforiatta. Now the yapa in Ghana in our politics, and say when you go to the UK embassy, UK politics more, and I say UK parliament, or by the American Congress, and I say a parliament, there's one thing: nobody decides which question is good and bad. Nobody calling himself a speaker decide to say question where you pose, this question is supposed to be admissible or not. And as a question we I will say a G2 and I say a G2. Now our parliament has found a way strategically, especially this NPP a year parliament we now especially that is Siama guy now. So Alban Bag be no na Joa is one see aya course a year abu. All that he does is any time NPP minister be the questions, he sits there and foolishly tries and dismisses the questions. Now, after Ken Oforiatta answer, the minority punched holes in his lies. Now, some questions from the minority which were supposed to be answered, they were not answered. In fact, you could see Ken Oforiatta dodged every single question the minority posed. Now, these are some of the questions minority opposing to Ken Oforiatta.
One relate to the fact that I've seen the minister accounting for the sources of financing or sources of fund for the amount they received to tackle COVID-19. Mr. Speaker, one particular one that is conspicuously missing in it is the COVID-19 Trust Fund that was established by the President of the Republic of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, that is critical because any amount that accrued to the fund is public fund and it should be accounted as such. Mr. Speaker, if I decide to donate money to fight a pandemic, that money is not private money. That money was received by state actor and it should be accounted for as such. And so therefore, in showing us the sources of funding, that particular line is conspicuously missing. And I urge the minister to come again on that one because we need to get some accountability on that one. So, Speaker,
that was Atta Forsen. Na question na Atta Forsen. Ebusane say, can Oforiatta kasa bebre bobo sika so. Na sika obobo so nyina no. Surprisingly no, COVID-19 Trust Fund na eye aban Ekufuado aban ete say ye de begigi sika twitwiri die e de aboa COVID-19 no. Ken Oforiatta sika sem okeka ni nyina wo parliament no. Wambo COVID-19 Trust Fund na eye sofa Ekufuda no no. Unim sa Sukwa Akufo a former CJ no ono ene de COVID-19 sika ni nyina si ni na so. Na Ken Oforiatta ebe accounts for COVID-19 sika no sika ya eye aban sika no because trust fund no eno so aban sika. And so Ken Oforiatta ekasa the whole day of parliament no COVID-19 trust fund sika na edemu no de no Ken Oforiatta anka wasem. And no question enana eye ato forcing ebusa Ken Oforiatta Öför speaker so say eye den na obegina aka COVID-19 asema ye nyina enim se sika dodo na nkasa no na e wo COVID-19 trust fund nim eye kufu ado ye obusuani na bieye eye sofa ye kufu a oye obusuani no e ne kotena no wo so ye finance minister na wo ndi nkita ho eye den na wo be account che Ghana fo a eye trust fund na sofa ye kufu kromfo no oba no e da no wanka ho asem question ni bi any questions are eye ato forcing ebusa eye Ken Oforiatta almost ebusa some few questions from the minority muma yentie
to us, and it is also in the media review of the year 2021. Media review of the year 2021, Government of Ghana's media review. And if you refer to page 101, appendix 4.3 of the media, 4E of the media review, the same thing has been stated here. Mr. Speaker, the minister had said, and let me commend him for the consistency in reporting. Mr. Speaker, page 101 of the media review is also in the same statement, appendix 1 of the media of the document that he's given to us. He said, Mr. Speaker, that they have spent 598 million at the time from January to June 2021, 598 million, equivalent to $1 billion for the purposes of, $100 million for the purposes of payment for nose masks, hand sanitizers, and Veronica buckets. Mr. Speaker, my concern is, yes, you spend 598 million for nose masks, hand sanitizers, and Veronica buckets for the reopening of schools. But at what cost? We need the fine details, expenditure returns of that. We will need expenditure returns. So, Speaker, you went on in your own document. You said that you paid 36 million for the design of Agenda 111. For who? 36 million. For what purpose? Design of Agenda 111. The Speaker, in the same document, he went on to say, page 100 of the media review, again stated here, and that's what I'm saying, I commend you for the consistency. So, Speaker, he says here that Agenda 111, January to December 2020, provision of health infrastructure, Agenda 111, district and regional hospitals, 600 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, my question is, you spent 600 million for Ghana cedis for Agenda 111. Noble idea. But have they used the money? And at what time? I know the president cut the sword for Agenda 111 in 2021. But this money was spent in 2020. So, Speaker, I think it is fair for me to ask this question. So, Speaker, on that basis, Mr. Speaker, I call on you, Mr. Speaker, to invoke Article 103 of the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, that says the Parliament shall appoint standing committees or any other committee as may be necessary for the effective discharge of its function. So, Speaker, we cannot sit here and say that the Minister of Finance should be the only one accounting for the COVID amount. So, Speaker, the Minister responsible for Finance is only a conduit of releasing the money. But the monies were spent at the various MDAs. And that is why, Mr. Speaker, I call on you, Mr. Speaker, to set up an ad hoc committee so that we can bring the various head of the MDAs, in particular, that spent the money to account for.
So, at first argument, I know you say, at the Kudientia minority, the agent say, MBA committee, ad hoc committee, Yenti committee in free parliament. Na omonhwehwa semu enkosi dito ne say finance minister Abeka Chiromo say almost spending 598 million Ghana cedis between January to June 2021, which is an equivalent of $100 million. Ewo nose mask so, ewo Veronica bucket, and a year things like sanitizer or no almost spending $100 million. Now finance minister says sika almost say no. And our finance minister Abeka Chiromo say, eba bibi to say the design for Agenda 111 design no, and yet agenda 111 the logo design no almost spending sika about 36 million Ghana cedis and no the designing logo no inti kanofurata beka kire parliament say Ghana for ntie ni say a logo no design for agenda 111 a yehu ba akokra no omo the Ghana sika twitwi die 36 million old Ghana cedis no billions upon billions and omo the design here and a kanofurata saka kire parliament say a year bibi to say health facilities infrastructure agenda 111 infrastructure no so far no almost spending 600 million Ghana cedis. Now me know at Ghana the question is why na agenda 111 project back kra enti the reason why na minority led by Atta force na ka say die Kenofurata kan wa hai ono na ye finance minister yentumi ngina ensof Kenofurata konkwa say hey sika na waka no kirekirem die betumi emeye hu sika no senia ye yiyi sika no 10 Ghana 20 Ghana 30 Ghana no Kenofurata de otua sika no yate ase ena ose ono receipt ekuta ne nie na oma otua sika ne ma omo no eye MMDCs no ene especially health ministries no enti NDC for say sansama Kenofurata keken ensisi so sika na no edin dodo agenda 111 design 36 million. And your finance minister now creates that designer. There is an institution or an MDDC, MCC, MCD, MC, or I say those institutions down there. No, so Atta Forson and the minority led by Haruna Idrisu, no, Omokacha speaker said, from all these things they are seeing, no, just 36 million on agenda 111 logo design. 600 million on infrastructure, a year 598 million equivalent of close to $100 million on nose mask. Veronica Bucket, no, a dream do. That means a nipana edisi can see almost a form no obi diska. Into the NDC is saying, say, Yanti committee na fe yemfre almost sikani form because Kenofurata or a conduit and I say or a conveyor belt. Or better make I say, Moon to me holding me responsible because I have given the money to the various institutions to use the money. And Kenofurata small category for say media sikano. You cannot hold me accountable. In the NDC for say, if we cannot hold you accountable, Yanti committee, ad hoc committee, na yemfre omo asikani ko si omo so no na sebi omo mekire mu say 600 million Ghana cedis now so the infrastructure no e buy na samba na e buy mu use ni sen Kenofurata say wa mamo a year 100 million equivalent of 598 million Ghana cedis say auditor nose mask auditor way education ministry sa sikana e true say Kenofurata tuaye e mamo no tua mamo amonche receipt amode ye. So basically the minority is just pleading with the speaker that, you know what, just open this for us to break this down. Send a Ghana for you na behu baby sika ko ye. Because Kenofurata no osoro ho oso wetua e better ne hu so wetua. O se dey adwuma no e better ne hu se dey adwuma no e wo se nipa na yetua sika ne ma omo no a omo MMDCs omo ye institutions omo form no omo na o se to nsa from. For all you know, ebia Kenofurata twa ntra to omo so. For all you know, ebi almost no jiskani di na Kenofurata so eya de pa ebi ye nyina and the ebu ofu Kenofurata. So it is right for we as Ghanaians to say it is important for a committee to be put together to now go down there and interrogate. Say sikane baya rasamba na sikane baya mu you see. Let us see a Ghana for sika. The minority in parliament are just asking for accountability, and the most important word is transparency. And this, any government that understands transparency, accountability, is not involved in corruption, will openly open up their minds and their hands and say, Mr. President, Mr. Speaker of Parliament, let us do this because we are clean. But this is the situation. The majority of MP before so say MBA committee. Then it means to say the majority in parliament, you know, omunim kronwa eye Euphoria tani MPP are buying led by Kufuado abo. Because se wonye hwe undi bone na Kenofurata so otua sika 600 million kwani yakoto eye nose mask. Ade na omo yembusa omo edis kan mo. For all you know, Ghanaians are blaming Kenofurata for no reason. For all you know, Kenofurata actually paid the money. For all you know, Kenofurata didn't pay the money. For all you know, those people down there, they got the money and they used it. So it is our duty as parliament to open a team, an ad hoc committee, to now go down and go check the facts. Who in their senses or nimnyansa on your kromfo will speak against this? But this is the situation when you go to parliament, somebody like Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, Afenyo Markins, a kromfo we know, they got up and said, say, they will not agree, say parliament, anti ad hoc committee to go down and see whether Ken is lying or somebody has chopped the money to make Ken look like a bad man. What are we doing here? Actually, with Jimmy. Actually, we are kwasia, and now better parliament. I can say we do not understand. Say YMBA and I yente ad hoc committee to investigate this. The NPP majority are thieves. Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, Afenyo Markins, NPP for more being omo kwasia for omo corrupt people. Every Ghanaian should do what? Support this, because we need to know. I don't want to blame Ken Ofori-Atta. I don't want to blame the people down there he say he has paid money to. So for us to establish the truth, Ken Ofori-Atta, we need to go down and ask questions. Determine who used the money, whether somebody is lying that Ken didn't pay or Ken is lying that he paid. And these are basic things that every developing, matured country, we need to align ourselves with. So at the end of the day, the Speaker of Parliament decided to put or come out with his verdict on this, because the minority pled with the Speaker, said he should allow this to happen, and that when it happens, Ghana we will listen and know who actually stole from us. This is the verdict of Speaker of Parliament.
Of the minister's statement, where he said, and I quote, Mr. Speaker, it must be noted that the status of utilization of the funds to finance the COVID-19 measures excludes funds of the National COVID-19 Trust Fund and the Ghana Private Sector COVID-19 Fund, unquote. As from this statement, if you read at 78, I believe, Article 178 of the Constitution is when the monies become public funds. For the avoidance of doubt, it's good I refer to the article for the edification of all of us. But before I even mention 178, when you read Article 175, it says, the public funds of Ghana shall be the consolidated fund, the contingency fund, and such other public funds as may be established by or under the authority of an act of Parliament. Now, the fund in question falls under the ambit of Article 175 and therefore qualifies to refer to as public fund. That fund, was it paid into the consolidated fund or it was being utilized by the trust? In that case, if it was not paid into a consolidated fund, it will not be possible for the Ministry of Finance to account for that, which meant that the trust will have to account for the utilization of that fund. This means that there's still the need for further investigation and inquiry into this matter. The 178 talk about withdrawals. No money shall be drawn from the consolidated fund except the relevant one at 178(1) B(4). It says no money shall be drawn from the consolidated fund except B, where the issue of those monies has been authorized, Roman 4, by rules or regulations made under an act of Parliament in respect of trust monies paid into the consolidated fund. And as I said, from the statement, one cannot tell whether it was paid into the consolidated fund or it was received by the trust and kept by the trust, and the trust itself was expending it. And so we need to go beyond the minister and to get in touch with the trust to be able to unearth these things.
So, General Alban Bagman, at the end of the day, or catch a parliament to say, can of Tabekasa, or carrying some one trust fund and one some, and also a sika Ghana for sika. The moment a year Ghana for sika, you tia atu Ghana for tuomono, a here say ye be who's a sikano etomu, and asantum, and a juma was a day and ye. And now a year sika can offer about Boston, and a here say ye be who's a sikana a koya and asanko because a Ghana for sika. It's at the end of the day, you know, a person can say, ye be a ad hoc committee, and Mama Tinasam so, sa COVID-19 trust fund, no. Dear Sufa Kufu da no ye per se ye hu sika no baby e call ye de omde ye because aban sika e Ghana fo sika e wo se kedo for ata so sika obebo so e wo parliament no ye hu se omo form no sika no ko ho anasa anko ho enti Alban Bagman our speaker of parliament no at the end of the day no ojitu minority for us one can say e be hia se e beti committee me ahwe sansem no and so okọ parliament na eye MPP for led by Osachi Mensa Bonsu kronfo no and this is your MPs in Kwasiafo mo pese Ghana be hu no kure no almost omonte ase. These are some of the things every day I talk about. Say so your MPP in there now you're young Ghanaian say me do Ghana we Kwasiampenyi catch on penny for say na transparency and accountability no aden amon pese be ye obi awie scanner. Because somebody or they have stolen the money, they don't want us to know the fine lines. The fine lines when you be a scan koye. So I catch them say a year COVID-19 sikaba ya tam sika say ele ko ha go to aduane manipa ya tiasie ya pese hu se sika na wo se tamokoma a MMDC no e koye na omo no so no aduane no omo de toye. It's simple as that. We want to verify and know whether you're telling the truth or lie. We want to know whether the people you say you've given the money to they actually receive it. It's simple. We also want to know say Argentina trust fund sika no you buy one can wasem because it's part of Ghanaians' money. Inti Argentina on pese e bekom akohwe baby COVID-19 trust fund sika no eko ende ye se sika na da ho anase nda ho de omde ye ne hu receipt why na G sika no why na di ye adwuma ye pese ye hu ni nyina. In the first place, the minority in parliament in Okrampono, they are doing everything possible to protect a year finance minister no ebia Ghana for bu efu ni nyina no aye de ye ebia or the sikana akasa koye ebia de oye no waye no kre adenti na MPP for pese Ghana for behu sikano so for that kind of kre se NDC MPP for kind of kre se so for ekufu kind of kre se Nana Pinto ekufu adobola man kind of kre. What is so difficult about this? Unless abino omo wie sikano, unless they don't want that accountability done. And remember, Nana Danko Kufuor is not somebody who wants to be accounted, who wants to do accountability in anything. Monka or opposition, MPP, party no, or Geomusika DA, Elikoya campaign, Omoka some accountant boo for Konum Rino can quite some tromo. So he's somebody who does not account. He is a liar. He is somebody who does not believe in a transparency. And in election 2020, no, Yakuni Paya say, Yembie a year committee into it. Till date on count wasem because he's somebody who has never believed in transparency and accountability. He has always been a person attacking, killing, making sure he goes against the rules and regulations. This is not about even this you people MP before you have to be happy. Say the NDC in parliament want to try and do what? Try and save the credibility of the finance minister if you people believe him. Some Ghana for much finance minister ni di MPP for or say Mensa Bonsu afa nyoma ken jimi mo MPP mo finance minister di na mo jima ban wedi na mo sofa ekufu mo jini di se owia esika. Why don't you avail yourself and avail these people, avail these institutions for scrutiny? Because the moment you start to stop it, it means mo ye before. That is why I keep telling Ghanaians to say these people are not people to be trusted. But they have a pan say, sir, a siamana or parliament so you're independent or Jimmy pa. I'm being honest with you. There are some very important questions that were posed to the finance minister. Because yato we are or no or so about parliament to save his people to come and be an independent or better than in the second parliament. He deliberately does these things every time. Alban Bagman and I saw Joe Wise in Yakason Kotina Kunyimu. Why Jimmy Bia? Where we want to progress, this fool called Esiama always sits in that seat and fool. It started with a year health minister issue about parliament. We were supposed to vote on the matter and make sure that guy left parliament. This fool sat there and said he is not going to allow it. Mokai, campaign man say MPP for send the or Krasini, they should not allow him to run for the MPP. Ye campaign makwasiato we nya MP and the wakwatina parliament and the sick or say pro and kwasiade Mutala asked a very good question, directed it to the finance minister. Esiama Jimini, you know, and me for I keep telling you, so giant way, you know, you people need to kick him out of parliament or no internet wahande. Now listen to the question and why anyone say this question is not admissible in parliament. Listen to this.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, many people have called for the suspension of the special petroleum tax, which is about 46 pesos per litre. But the Minister of Finance, even today, he's also indicated that the supposed position of Ghana being a net exporter of crude is not true because our imports outstrips our exports, but the Ghana share. What the ministry is not taking cognizance of is the windfall of Ghana's share as compared to the taxes imposed on what we call the petroleum products. As we speak today, conservatively, if we are to say use $90 per barrel for 2022, it is projected that Ghana will gain in terms of windfall $470 million. I'm giving the background. If we are to take $90 per barrel, Honorable, I'm going to ask the question, Mr. Speaker. Without that, I can't ask the question. It's a preamble. So taking $90 per barrel conservatively, it is projected that you will be earning somewhere around $470 million.
Leader,
is this still tenable
Honorable,
to keep the SPT? What's the problem?
Honorable, hold on. Leader, what is it?
Mr. Speaker, we are all fully aware of the rules. And my respected colleague, Honorable Bauer, knows what to do. If you want to make a statement, you make a statement. If you are asking a question, you go, Mr. Speaker, I have said time without number, that patience and tolerance to listen to each other is important. And it shows mutual respect. You listen even if you disagree. That's why I was on my feet quietly to catch your eye. Mr. Speaker, Order 67. It's clear. If you want to ask a question, ask your question. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, it is my submission.
Leader, well noted.
Mr. Speaker, yes. So you should do the needful.
So, Honorable.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
In asking a question, it is also important to have an educated background to the question so that people will know the preamble under which you are making those points.
Honorable Member for Tamale Central. Yes, Honorable Member for Bongo, let me hear you.
So my question is, with regards to the fact that government of Ghana is making a windfall of the neighborhood of $470 million per year because of the increases in fuel prices in the international market, is it still tenable to keep the SPT, that's the special petroleum tax, on the price build-up as a source of budget support?
Now, this question is a straightforward question. He wanted a preamble. Now, question or answer what he has here is all about petroleum taxes. How the government, the finance ministry, how they are going to subsidize fuel. Emma pressure, Emma da Ghana for so. But do you know, so busa question we know, sa akwara ne se kono to krasini no, or can say that question no should not be answered by the finance minister? Can you believe that? And nowhere in this world, in any parliament, will such foolishness happen. Because ye Jimmy, Fuibia, no me join the party, ni aso the party amano. Ni amana ko parliamentarian, ko MP. Because ye to way, na osu di so chi, ye man ko parliament, ahemfo ebu nkotodwe e ka kire mo nko say, ye ntuma siama, no no na ekwa find it a problem for solving problem for us. Or kwa ko jinem ako make sure say, ye ni ahoto. And they busa petrol prices. Ghana for which more and Sibia energy some qua. Kwasiato wait now question it's inadmissible. Question on Tiasia Emma Finance Minister answer. Some kwasiadu when yet home. Sa Jimmy some way to not in full way ye be a double parliament. This parliament is having a problem because of this fool. This parliament is struggling because of Kwasiampenyi say Esiama. Where Jimmy to the point say, when we want to move forward, we want answers. Now the question was say, I don't allow. Ghanaians, let's get serious. For me for sa Jimmy wo mama fe bimba bremo. I tell myself I've fooled myself. Me Jimmy say me campaign ma Kwasiampenyi way. Because I thought to say when Kobeba be somebody who would change parliament with his votes. With Jimmy Cratch and the Pinto. And sometimes we sit here and we don't understand why we are not developing. Listen, gentlemen. So this is what transpired in Parliament today. It's very important that Ghana Nibia Osheme and Adrino Obetiasie Odo voice beka say we need a committee to investigate this. And we should not give up. We should make sure say this government accounts for every penny about COVID-19. I'm not picking phone calls. I expect you to sit down, analyze these issues, and tomorrow the conversation comes up. You will be part of it. My name is Kevin Akobedu.